Hi, sixth grade social studies teachers. My name is Kelly, and today I'm going to walk you through the Ancient Egypt and the Pyramids unit plan. This unit follows the Agriculture and Human Civilization unit and consists of 9 lessons and should take between 13 and 14 days. Here's the question map for this unit. As you can see, we are centering around the concept of a pyramid. So our compelling question is, how does the pyramid represent ancient Egyptian life? Our supporting questions center around pyramids as well. What are the pyramids of Egypt and where are they located? Why were the pyramids important to ancient Egypt? Were the pyramids the only achievement of the ancient Egyptians? And how do pyramids connect ancient Egypt to other civilizations? There's a unit slideshow that you can use as you move through instruction, but of course, make sure you reference the unit plan as you go through to make sure you don't miss any steps. We have a variety of social studies standards in this unit, including some inquiry, behavioral science, economics, geography, history, and reading in history and writing in history. So lesson 1 is called Exploring the Pyramids. You want to make sure that students have access to the student packet, either printed copies or online. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on the compelling question, break it down, and figure out more about the Egyptian pyramids using various sources. We begin with introducing the concept of pyramids by asking students to look and figure out the commonalities between these pictures. Then students break apart the compelling question and think about what focus items we will need, as well as what social scientists would be most interested. You can use the thinking like a social scientist cards to help focus it. Obviously, geographer and historian are going to jump out, but you can make connections between behavioral scientists, political scientists, and economists. There's a bit of a Despicable Me clip to watch and start to think about the significance of the pyramids, where they're located, if tourists can actually visit, and why there was scaffolding and construction going on in the clip. You close this lesson by giving students time to explore more about the pyramids of Egypt, and there's different ideas for resources to use. There's an Exploring the Pyramids page in the student packet, and that would work as your formative assessment for this lesson. Lesson 2 is entitled Geography of Egypt, so that's what we're focusing on. So at this point, you're going to review supporting question 1, then use Google Maps or a map of Egypt to look at the geographic features. Then you spend some more time looking at the map of Egypt, focusing on the ancient civilization's timeline, and you can make comparisons back to Mesopotamia. Then there's some research to do about ancient Egypt, particularly about the Nile. And then, of course, we add information to the geography section of the GRAPES page, which is on page 2 of the student packet. Lesson 3 is about the social structure and economics. This is going to take 2 days. And we're going to learn about the type of pyramid that was present within the social structure. We're also going to take a look at the politics and economics of ancient Egypt. So first, we're going to start by discussing government, and you can always review the politics section of the GRAPES slideshow if you need to. Then there's some reading to do within the textbook, or you can pull additional resources and find out more about who is the first pharaoh of unified Egypt, information about the crown, why historians use governments to organize timelines. Then we move into supporting question 2, and we look at these 2 pyramids that we have on slide 22. One would be the pyramids in Egypt, and the other one is more of a chart or a graphic organizer. You can use this to move into discussion about the social structure, and there's a few resources to choose from for how to learn more about it. Then, of course, we need to touch on trade and the economic section of the GRAPES notes. Lesson 4, we focus on religion in the pyramids. And we're going to start by taking a look at this image, which is a picture of the Book of the Dead, and ask students to complete a WDIS. So what do I see? And they can also generate some questions about this. There's a link for a summary of the image so that you can explain it to the students. And then there's a few options for learning about the religion of ancient Egypt. Then we continue on and talk more about the pyramids, their significance, why they were built. Students can add that to the achievement section of the GRAPES notes. And then you have some information about Judaism, since that was another religion present in ancient Egypt and in nearby areas. Now, this was covered in the Intro to World Regions and Cultures unit. So if students still have access to the World Religions Comparison Chart, that would be great. If not, you can always reference either of these other 2 resources. Lesson 5 is entitled Mummy Dearest. In this, there is an Apple activity. You want to gather supplies ahead of time. So for the first part, we learn about the mummification process and why it was done. And you can have students add that to the religion section of the GRAPES notes. Then there is an optional activity, which is the Apple Mummy activity. There are some instructions provided. And then you can also choose to read other information about mummies. The resources here are all from Junior Scholastic, but of course there's more available with a simple Google search. Lesson 6, we focus on the achievements of ancient Egyptians beyond the pyramids. There's an Ancient Egyptian 101 video that can be watched, and students can complete the notes on page 6 of their student packet. Then we move into the achievements of ancient Egypt, and there are lots of options of resources to choose from. You could have small groups each do one of these options, or you could pick and choose which ones you'd prefer. There are a couple items to make sure you discuss, and then also focus on how these achievements still have impact on our lives today. Lesson 7 is the Ancient Egypt Career Fair. So in this one, students get to look at the resumes of 4 pharaohs and select a job for each of these leaders based on their experiences and qualifications. So to get students thinking about this, we look through some different images. What career would be a good fit for this person? This one gets us into the idea of an Ancient Egypt career fair. So we have 4 pharaohs to read about, and students will do the Ancient Egypt career fair chart to explain. So this is the job we give them, and this is why. Students have access to this slideshow because the career options are listed right on here. Here are the 6 to choose from, and then there are explanations of each one. If you would like your students to have an option to see what everyone selected, they can complete the career fair results survey and see which leader was assigned to which job. In lesson 8, we move on to the ancient kingdom of Kush and find the connections with ancient Egypt. And we start by learning about other pyramids around the world. Then we spend some time working through these resources about Kush. And then there's some additional resources that you can use if needed. Lesson 9 is the summative. And the summative for this one is for students to create a response to the compelling question. Students are going to need at least 3 pieces of supporting evidence and reasoning in their response, complete sentences, and probably about 2 paragraphs or so. I hope this video was a helpful resource as you prepare to teach the Ancient Egypt and Pyramids unit. Please reach out to your PLC leader, instructional coach, or curriculum facilitator if you have any questions or in need of any support.